Hi friends, welcome to what might be day 6 of Vlogmas, Bookmas. I'm filming these early and out of order, so I'm not actually sure what's gonna come when, but regardless, welcome. Also, sorry for the light being so weird on my face. As we move down this pile, our light will even out. Over the last year, I have changed my book buying habits a lot. For the 6 months leading up to me starting this channel, and then for like 9 months after I started it, I had this thought needling around in my head, and I was convinced that in order to be a good booktuber, I had to buy up every single book that I saw. I needed to own everything or else I was gonna fail. I was also extremely sick, as you might know, and I was self-medicating with retail therapy, but I'm not gonna waste time being mad at myself for it. Honestly, there are a lot worse ways I could have been self-medicating than buying books. But this year I scaled it back so much. I mostly was buying books that I found on resale at a heavy discount, and then like a select few pre-orders. So in the entire second half of the year, I only bought 40 books total. That might sound like a lot to some people, that might sound like very few to other people, but for me, buying 40 books in 6 months, that's like 6 point something books per month. That is perfectly fine by me. Plus, almost exactly half of these books were bought in one single day at a Barnes & Noble going out of business sale where every book was like 75 to 85% off. So the actual money put into them was drastically lower than it should have been. And my goal in 2026 is to decrease the number of books I buy even more. My goal will never ever be to only have like 25 books on my physical TBR. The thought of that makes me itchy. I don't care to be that person. I really like the wine cellar metaphor for buying books and owning books. I don't buy every book so that I could read it immediately. I like having a few of them in the wine cellar to take out on a day when it feels right to me. But I do want to cut through some of the damage to my wallet I did in that first 6 to 9 months when I was really sick and really sad. So that being said, these are the 40 books that I bought in the last 6 months. And don't expect another book haul from me anytime soon, because the goal is to be doing less than this next year. I accidentally put these into categories, so I'm going to do them categorically. And first up is the most important book on this whole desk, and that is, hold on, is that better? And that is, I can't, how do I do this? There we go, that's better. And that is it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And that is In the Shadow of Man by Jane Goodall. And to be fair, I only bought this book to replace the original copy of it that I either let my mom borrow or it got lost in a move, or I've left it somewhere that I don't know. So I already owned In the Shadow of Man, but I will very gladly repurchase a copy of anything that Jane Goodall has ever put out. We only have 2 general literary fiction books here, the first of which is Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector. This is a really tiny book. It's like 88 pages, and it's a meditation on the nature of life and time. I've read the first page of this a dozen times, and I'm scared to go into it because I have a feeling that it's going to change my life, which is not a good reason to not go into something. But I'm a person who is afraid of time. I don't believe in it. I am deeply terrified of the passage of time. I have deep existential anxiety, and this seems to be all about that. But I'll let you know more when I finally read this tiny little thing. The only other general fiction book I have here is Isola by Allegra Goodman, which I bought months ago. Never expected it to show up on the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees. I am not the biggest historical fiction reader. I think we all know that. But this particular book is about a woman and her lover who gets stranded on an island, I believe. And if I'm gonna read historical fiction, it's going to be about people stranded on an island. By the way, I am gonna go through each of these pretty quickly. I'm not gonna do the full synopsis of any of these books because we have 40 to get through and I cannot be here for 8 hours. I have to film more videos after this. So then we have 4 sci-fi books that I have purchased in the past 6 months, which feels like not enough. I love sci-fi. Why am I not buying more sci-fi books? The first book up is To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. This was recommended to me by a subscriber. I don't remember who, but one of you lovely people. Actually, I think multiple of you. I think like 10 people have recommended that I buy this. I loved Becky Chambers' what is it, the Monk and Robot duology. Absolutely loved it. And those are the only things that I've read by her so far. So now I have this and I have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. So I have Becky Chambers on the docket. What is this about? Oh, space travel. We're astronauts. We're traveling through space. We're adventurers. And this is a short book too. God, I fucking love a short book. It's like 150 pages. Absolutely incredible. I'm so excited. I also got Glyph by Ali Smith. And this one I've never seen talked about anywhere on YouTube. So I will go through the synopsis a little bit because I don't know if any of you people know what this is. Oh, I don't even know what this is. An uncertain near future. A story of new boundaries drawn between people daily. A not very brave new world. Add 2 children and a horse. From a Scottish word meaning a transient moment, a shock, a faint glimpse. Glyph explores how and why we endeavor to make a mark on the world. In a time when Western industry wants to reduce us to algorithms and data, something easily categorizable and predictable, Smith shows us why our humanity, our individual complexities matter more than ever. That told us nothing. I'm pretty sure this is set in some kind of dystopian world with 2 children and a horse. And that's all any of us get to know about it, I guess. Next for sci-fi, I got The Island of Last Things by Emma Slowly. This I know is a dystopian book. And also look at that cover. Look at that panther eating someone's hand. Right, yes, so we're in a dystopian future with a woman who works in the last zoo on Earth on Alcatraz Island. And a lot of the animals that she takes care of are the last of those animals on Earth. I think she has the very last elephant anywhere, which is fucking bleak. And also the way that our world is heading if we don't actually start caring about things soon. I think there's also lesbians in here. I believe this is lesbian dystopian last zoo on Earth fiction. So if that appeals to anyone, I'll let you know when I read it. The final book that I got that is sci-fi related is The Merge by Grace Walker. I believe by the time this video goes up, because if I haven't already made this clear, most of the Vlogmas, Bookmas videos have to be pre-recorded. So like I'm coming to you from the past right now. It's late November. I think by the time you see this, I will already have read this book. How did I like it? What did I think? Let me know. There's new technology called The Merge where people can combine their consciousnesses into one person's brain. And the example used in here is worrying to me. It's talking about how someone with Alzheimer's merges their brain with one of their children so that she can keep living and she can be healthy. I just recently lost my grandma to Alzheimer's and dementia, and well, now I'm nervous. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and now I'm nervous to read it. It doesn't quite feel like enough time has passed for me to feel comfy reading that. Where I am right now, I still have a few more weeks. Hopefully I don't have to soft DNF this while I'm reading. Anyway, goodbye. Now we're getting into horror. All of these are horror books. By the way, all of these are fantasy books. Oops, in the new year, I'm gonna have to do a read it or unhaul it fantasy. You know what? I should do like an entire month where I read it or unhaul it just fantasy so that I can get some of these off of my shelf. Because also these, all 3 of the bookshelves back here is all fantasy. Editing, McKenna, please make a note. Read it or unhaul it fantasy edition. Adissue. Read it or unhaul it fantasy edition. Early 2026. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 16 horror books. How many fantasy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17. 17 fantasy books. It just looks so much bigger because these books are so fucking thick. It's unbelievable. 2 of the books in here I think are like 800 pages. Maybe you can guess what they are. Maybe I've already read one? No. By the time you see this, I will. Oh, I'm so confused by the calendar. I think by the time you see this, I will have read at least one of these fantasy books, but you won't know it yet because the video I will have read it for will not be coming out until the end of December. Is that right? I don't know. Sorry. Anyway, shut the fuck up. Horror books. I bought Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. Another recommendation by one of you lovely folks. Oh, is this indie published? I don't have a whole lot of indie published books. That's my bad, I guess. I believe this is being traditionally published as we speak, but don't quote me on that. Between Two Fires is medieval horror. There's a knight and a priest and a young orphan, and they have to undertake a journey across the medieval French countryside decimated by war and plague. I love medieval shit. I have to go through these faster. I told you this was going to be, well, not short. There's no way this was going to be short. I got The Spirit Bares Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This is the second Andrew Joseph White book that I own, and I have not read the first one yet. I haven't read, what is it, Hell Followed With Us. I have heard that Andrew Joseph White gets intense with it, so I'm very excited. I will be reading Hell Followed With Us first because I want to go in publication order. By the way, if any of the books that you hear me talk about today are your favorites and you think that I need to prioritize them, please let me know. Because I don't know what I'm prioritizing here. I'm leaving it up to you. Let me know what to prioritize. Speaking of prioritizing things, this will be getting read in December for sure. Krampus by Brom. I just finished Slewfoot about a month ago, and I absolutely cannot wait to read Krampus. Krampus was an evil Scandinavian spirit that would come into your house and eat your children, if I remember that correctly. And also, if you haven't seen the movie, it's not the movie based off this book, it's just a movie with the same name. Krampus with Toni Collette and Adam Scott. One of the best Christmas movies you can watch with your family. If you haven't, here you go. If you haven't seen Krampus, please watch it with your family or by yourself or with loved ones. Watch it this holiday season. Thank you. Anyway, that's what this is about. Next horror book I got is A Haunting in the Arctic by C.J. Cook, which I imagine is about a haunting in the Arctic. I love anything set in the snow that's horror based. I don't love the snow. I don't like being in the snow. I don't give a shit about snow. I love horror based things that are set in snow. Krampus, for instance. But also, my favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing. Set in the snow, on a research base in the Arctic. So anything that seems even peripherally related to that, I want to read or watch. I also recently started watching The Terror. It's like a 10-part TV series. I've only watched the first episode. I hope it gets way more f***ed up. Anyway, A Haunting in the Arctic. This woman discovers something. She'll realize she's not alone. Something has walked the floors of the ship for over a century. Something that craves revenge. I also got 2 horror-based short story collections, which means I need to get on top of my short story game. I have a bunch of them here that I haven't read, but I need to become more of a short story lady. First up is North American Lake Monsters by Nathan Ballingrud. I just read Cathedral of the Drowned, which was the sequel to Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud. I had never read any of his short stories before. I think that's where he started out, but I fucking love his novella series so far. So I'm hoping that this is equally weird and creepy and hopefully full of bugs. I also got The Wishing Pool and Other Stories by Tanana Reeve Dew. Again, I have The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. Haven't read it yet. Heard it's one of the most amazing books I'll ever read in my life, so I don't know. I think I'm just scared. But this is a collection of stories including horror, sci-fi, and suspense. She is supposed to be the absolute queen of horror, so I'm excited for that too. Would you prefer if I went through the synopses of each book? Would you prefer if this was like a 4-hour long video? I don't think so. I don't think that you would. I think it's okay just to give you general scope of book. Look how much smaller our pile is getting already. Next I have not 1, but 2 books from an author that once again I've never read from before. So I'm going all in on Stephen Graham Jones. I got Mapping the Interior, which is a novella, which seems to be about a kid whose parents are divorced. Been there. His dad makes a surprise visit one night, but his dad drowned 8 years ago. What's up with that, huh? I also got My Heart is a Chainsaw. I have heard so many people who absolutely love this book. I don't think I've ever read a slasher horror book. I mean, I read Fantasticland, which is like kind of a slasher, but it's also got these weird elements to it. I think My Heart is a Chainsaw is just a straight up slasher. Slashers are not my favorite kind of scary movie either. I wonder how I'll feel about it in book form. Ooh, there was a massacre at a summer camp 50 years ago. All right, I'm excited. We're getting through it, slowly but surely. God, next for horror, another book by an author that I own another book from but haven't read yet. What is wrong with me? The Burial Tide by Neil Sharpson. I have Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson, which I have to read before this, which I first heard about on Kayla's channel, I believe, Books and Lala, and she loved it. It's set in Ireland. There's creepy shit. It seems kind of weird, which means that I'm gonna love it. The Burial Tide is another folk horror by Neil Sharpson. Again in Ireland. Oh, I can't resist anything set in Ireland. I can't do it. Ireland and Africa, absolutely. Anything set within either of those areas, I can't resist. And this is about a woman who digs her way out of her grave and comes back to life in Ireland. I really need to get to Knock Knock Open Wide so I can get to this. I have a feeling that Neil Sharpson is going to become one of my favorite people. We also have Overgrowth by Mira Grant. I've read from her other pen name, Shauna McGuire. I've read all the Wayward Children books. She writes under Mira Grant also. I haven't read Into the Drowning Deep. Overgrowth is about a little girl who claims that she is from another planet and that her alien people are going to come back for her. And no one believes her, obviously, because she's like a 6-year-old going, my parents are aliens. But I think it turns out to be true, and I think that's what this book is about. I also got Mary. I read both Rest Stop and When the Wolf Comes Home this year. I loved When the Wolf Comes Home even more. Nat Cassidy quickly becoming one of my favorite people. I love his vibe. I love the way he chooses to do things. and I'm really excited for this. I guess when I read this one, I'll buy nestlings. This is basically about a woman who is experiencing weird changes inside of her. And knowing Nat Cassidy, I know there's going to be some twists and turns in there that I don't foresee. Next, I got The Country Under Heaven by Frederick S. Durbin. Another book I have heard no one on here talk about, and so I feel like it's my duty to tell you more than what I've been telling you for other things. Because I read the synopsis for this online, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. It would not leave my head. So why haven't I read it yet? Your guess is as good as, because I'm stupid. Because I'm an idiot. This is like a mixture between sci-fi and an old western. More than a decade after the Civil War, former Union soldier Ovid Vesper still suffers from the paralyzing visions he's been having since he survived one of the war's most gruesome battles, the Battle of Antietam. As he travels along the western frontier following those visions, he finds himself in stranger and increasingly more dangerous encounters with other worlds hidden in the spaces of his own, not to mention the dangers of the Wild West. Nonetheless, Ovid brings his steady calm and compassion as he helps the people of a broken country, rapidly changing, but like himself still reeling and wounded from the war. He assists with matters of all sorts, from odd jobs around the house to guiding children back to their own universe, to hunting down unnatural creatures that stalk the night, all the while seeking his own personal resolution and peace from his visions. That sounds sick. Another one of my favorite movies of all time is Tombstone, but I've never read a western. I don't even know of any modern westerns to be read, except for this one now. So hopefully we can get to this soon. Next up is Bad Things Happened in This Room by Marie Still. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about this book, and I think it came out recently. I think this was like a September release, and this is a haunted house book. I read in the beginning of this year, We Used to Live Here, and I absolutely fucking loved it. That might have been the first real haunted house book that I've ever read. So now I have another one. I also have The Hounding by Zenobie Purvis. One of my favorite covers of the year, if not my favorite, because look at those dogs. Those are good dogs. I'm so easily swayed. You put a dog on something and I'm its #1 fan. The Hounding, if I'm remembering correctly, is about a group of sisters who live in this little rural town, and either they or the town is convinced that the sisters are turning into dogs. So like part virgin suicides, part night bitch, kind of. I do believe that by the time you see this, I will have read this book. What did I think? Did I like you? Did I love you? At the very least, I hope that I give this book above a 3 so I can keep that cover on my shelves. Our penultimate horror book is another one where I own a different book by the author and still haven't read it. Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. I own, what is it? Don't Let the Forest In. Haven't read it yet because there's something wrong with me. So I will be reading Don't Let the Forest In before I get to Hazelthorn. If you have read both of these, please someone let me know which one you liked more. I know that this is another gothic crumbling mansion gay ghost demon book, I think. I don't know, I kind of want to go into these without knowing like anything at all, but I know that Don't Let the Forest In is widely beloved. The last horror book I got is Hecla's Children by James Brogdon. This was either recommended to me by one of you or by Goodreads itself. I don't really remember right now. This is one I got recently, so I should remember. I don't. This is also not a new book. How did I find out about this? Who told me about this? It's from 2017. Who told me about this book? These kids go missing on a field trip. One of them returns but doesn't know where she's been, and she returns with like a Stone Age tool in her hand. So like the implications are she stumbled into a portal and got sent back to caveman times or something. That's my guess. That's my best guess. Thank you for coming. No, we're not done. We're not done. So there are, what did I say? 17. There are 17 fantasy books that I have purchased in the last 6 months. The first of which is Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. This I was very excited for. It since has not gotten the best reviews, so I've deprioritized it a little bit, but I'm gonna read it at some point. It's just not high up on my list, even though this is a portal fantasy thing. From what I can remember, these 7 portal doors pop up around the world. There's a pair of sisters. They have different ideas of what may lie in the world beyond. So I think one of them wants to go through the portal together and one of them doesn't want to at all. Next up in fantasy, we have Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyachenko, which is about a girl who meets a strange man who starts rewarding her with golden coins and then takes her away to a special school for magic people, I think. Next, I can do 4 at once actually because I bought a whole freaking series at that Barnes & Noble going out of business sale I was telling you about. That place was magic. My God. I'm telling you, every book, like 80% off. What am I doing? Every book like 80% off. So I bought, I think 16 books there, 18 books at this going out of business sale, and I spent less than $100. No regrets, especially because it allowed me to purchase the entire, what is this series called? The entire Ember in the Ashes series. I have never read anything by Saba Tahir, and I've heard that this series is loved by everyone, so I'm very excited to go into it. I think it's about a woman. It's about a woman who has to challenge the Empire. Also at that Barnes & Noble book sale, I got Silver Elite by Danny Francis. Since I purchased it, this has gotten accusations that it was written by AI because Danny Francis does not seem to be a real person. I know that the other rumor is that Danny Francis is a new pen name for an already well-known author, but no one has come out to talk about that yet. So this will sit on my shelf, I believe, until we figure that out. If it's an AI book, I'm not reading it. Your girl is gonna bring it to a little free library. Next is one I'm sure so many people will be very happy to see here. And I expect I will be reading this, if I haven't read it already, I will be reading it in January for reading booktubers' favorite books. And that is obviously Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. I was skeptical at first because I am not a video game girl. I was a big Zoo Tycoon girl. I was a big Sims girl. I have been known to still play The Sims 4 from time to time, but no other video games. There's no hand-eye coordination in my body, and also I can't imagine choosing to play a video game when I could be either reading a book or watching a movie. But everyone and their mom fucking loves this book, so I got FOMO. I had to have it. Anyway, this book is about a guy who goes outside to grab his girlfriend's cat, and then suddenly like aliens come in and flatten everything. Anyone who is inside of a building or under a tent, under anything, they get smashed, dead, absolutely flattened out of existence. And then everyone who's left has to play this real life video game that the aliens are putting on, and you have to make it through levels. That is what I have ascertained thus far. I bet you're asking, what is this beautiful book here? I'm not asking that because I hate sprayed edges. Maybe it looks beautiful to you. It bothers me. I hate it. Babylonia by Costanza Casati. And if you're asking, McKenna, have you ever read a Costanza Casati book before? I will tell you no, but I own one, and I've owned one for a few years now. I got Clytemnestra by the same author a few years ago. Haven't read it because you already know. Beautiful cover. Look at those leopards. If you put an animal on the cover, I'm hooked. We're in ancient Assyria, dealing with politics, prophecies, kings and queens, absolute power and the empire. I think this is basically another one of the Greek retelling books, except it's not Greek. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 more books left. Okay, I got the Book of Lost Hours by Haley Gelfuso. Again, a few weeks before it got announced as one of the Goodreads Choice Awards nominees, so I'm so ahead of the curve. This is another Portal fantasy book that has to do with books. I believe that we're in another library where you can change time space itself by going through magic books. So Portal fantasy, time fuckery, I'm all in. Next I have one that I am so excited to read, and again I think I'll be reading this during January's best booktube books. That is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovolino. This is about a lady knight who is a blade healer and protector to her mage. They're bound together by blood and magic, but the Lady Knight has a secret that she doesn't want anyone to find out. We also have In the Shadow of the Fall by Toby Ogundiran, which is the first in a novella series. Love me a novella series. This was... no, the next 2 books actually were recommended to me from subscribers. This one was recommended to me because I asked about more recommendations for fiction based in Africa. Ashake is an acolyte in the Temple of Ifa, yearning for the day she is made a priestess and sent out into the world to serve the Orisha. Okay, my camera cut out there for a minute. I don't know where I lost you. But next up is The Mad Sisters of Essie by Tashin Mehta. This was recommended to me by one of you because I was asking for books that remind you of the scene in Treasure Planet where they're sailing on the ship through the cosmos and they see space whales. I wanted books where you go on an adventure in outer space, you go to foreign planets, but there's an emphasis on the animals that live there. And so this was one of the recommendations, and I took it and ran with it. And the synopsis synopsis doesn't really help me understand what the book is about. Myung and her sister Lale are the sole inhabitants of the Whale of Babel. They roam within its cosmic chambers, speak folk tales of themselves, and pray to their creator, the Great Wyza. For Lale, this is everything. For Myung, it's not enough. When Myung flees the whale, she stumbles into a new universe full of people, shape-shifting islands, and argumentative ghosts. Myung sets off on an adventure that will unravel the mystery that has confounded everyone for centuries, the truth about the mad sisters of Essie. Sounds sick. When did this... is this new? 2023. We have 4 more left, and these are the 4 most recent books that I have purchased. And part of it is in preparation for January, reading Booktuber's Bests. This is not one of them. This is Kill the Beast by Sarah Swift. Look at that. Beautiful. If anyone doesn't know, aside from dogs, my favorite animals are lions. Those are my babies. When I saw lions in person in the wild in Africa for the first time, I lost my shit. I cried like a baby. So anything that has to do with lions, I'm all in, even if it's just the cover of a book. So Kill the Beast came out earlier this year, and it's about a girl whose brother was murdered by a fairy-made monster known as the Beast, and she made him a promise that she would find a way to destroy the immortal creature and avenge his death. So she's been hunting fairies and the abominations that they create. Oh, there's also a dog on the cover. Look at them down there. They got a dog. I'm gonna love this book. I already know it. One of the books I may have already read by the time that you're watching this is The Everlasting by Alex E. Harrow. I have loved a book by Alex E. Harrow, and I have found one pretty mid. I loved 10,000 Doors of January. Where is it? 10,000 Doors of January, and I thought Starling House was so painfully average. I have hope for The Everlasting because I've heard that it's time type of stuff. I think that we're dealing with people who find each other in every timeline, that kind of a thing. They keep reincarnating and finding each other again, which is in fact part of time and something that I love very much. The last 2 books I bought specifically to read in January. The first is The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson. This has been blowing up across BookTube the last few months, and I have FOMO and I want to know what's going on. I think that we're at a magic school. There are competitions. Yes, we're in the Empire of Oran, where after 24 years of peace, the reign of Burson the Brusque has come to an end. There's a competition held to replace him, but one of them is murdered, and this girl has to find the killer and fight for the throne. And finally, I know it's going to technically be a different book in the series that's in the everyone's best books of the year, but hopefully this will make it on there too so I can read it and not be left out anymore, and that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. Another chunker. I don't know anything about this book, actually, except for the fact that everyone seems to love it. I'm not reading all that right now. All I know about this is that there's something called will, and it's like their type of magic. So I think you can use your will to hone your power, or to pay for things, or to trade or barter for stuff. Am I lying? Am I lying to myself and to all of you right now? Oh, it's another magic school. I've been sent to the academy to find answers, to solve a murder, to search for an ancient weapon, to uncover secrets that may tear the Republic apart. Not the Republic. And that I will never ever cede my will to the empire that executed my family. Okay, and you have to rise through the academy ranks. I get it. Okay, magic school, avenging your family. And full transparency, there are 3 more books that I received during this 6-month time period. But I received them for free, but I thought I should mention them here. Aardvark sent me an email asking if I wanted to try out their services for free. Not as a sponsorship or anything, I wish, but just to test them out and see if I wanted to purchase their subscription box going forward. So I'm not gonna go grab them, but what they sent me was What Hunger by Catherine Dang, Salt Bones by Jennifer Given, and Coffin Moon by Keith Rawson. So these 3 I also acquired in the last 6 months, but I didn't pay for them. So here they are. So that's it. Those are my 40 new books from the last half a year. For me, this is showing extreme restraint, just so you know. I am proud of only having gotten 40 books in 6 months. Please let me know which of these books I should prioritize. I'm so lost. I want to read all of them at once. Let me know what you've loved. Let me know what you've hated. If you hated any of these, that's it. If you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, thank you for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. I hope you have good things to look forward to. I love you.